Last on Irma Vep Season 1 Episode 5, Renee faced criticism for the classic scene in which Moreno kidnaps Irma Vep due to the action's sexual overtones. Renee, who will not budge, points to the valiant struggle of the original Irma Vep to prevent the banning of her 1916 film The Vampires. As Mira immerses herself further into her persona, she faces with a range of complicated emotions. Like the tremors before a volcano explosion, the pandemonium that had been building around the Les Vampires set had to eventually explode. The insurance company was alarmed by the director of this production, which also included a German actor who needs to restock on crack, and a financier whose sole interest in the show is to use its star as the face of his upcoming cosmetics line. The most steady character on set is Mira, who is taking advantage of the chance to flee from a recent breakup and the associated tabloid scrutiny of Los Angeles. She could easily walk away from this disaster and make money playing the gender-flipped Silver Surfer role that her agency is pleading with her to do, with minimal negative impact on her reputation. This makes this Irma Vep a perfect complement to Olivier Assayas's 1996 movie, in which Maggie Chun not only portrays herself but also serves as the face of a more organized, well-run film business. There were no indications that the machine was malfunctioning at the time, at least not before the city was transferred to China the following year. Even then, change would be gradual. At the time, Hong Kong was producing some of the most thrilling, fashionable action and art movies on the planet. Hollywood, which may not be the world's greatest source of inspiration, but nevertheless colonizes it with massively expensive motion pictures, is represented by Mira. For someone like Mira, the concept of someone stopping productivity due to an outburst of rage is alien. The show must go on in America. The cataclysmic punchline to a season of setup, the Thunder Master, may be the funniest episode of the series to date. The actor Edmund, who kept bugging him with requests to bulk up his role, was the most common cause of Renee's previous outbursts. Nevertheless, every day is an adventure for Renee as he rides the crests of his anxiety and petulance. Last week, it appeared that he was winning the battle against Robert, the elder actor who had been chosen to play the Grand Vampire but who fell out of Renee's good graces after criticizing the mesmerizing seduction of Irma Vep. Renee made the decision to exact revenge on Robert by removing him entirely from the program, which resulted in the comic sequence in which he applauds from behind the monitor when Mira's Irma shoots the Grand Vampire with the barrel of her revolver. He exclaims, "Yes," as if Rocky had just defeated Ivan Drago. Jump with both feet on him now. Renee's victory over his most recent foe ought to be a cause for celebration, but instead it feels more like the start of a nervous breakdown. He vanishes from the scene, is unresponsive to calls, and causes panic among the troops. None of this was very surprising. Although Gregory, who served as his producer for 15 years, is undoubtedly upset about it, there is some evidence that Renee is going through this as a result of his raging misanthropy and self-doubt spasms. The issue with this Les Vampires production, however, is that Gautier, the moneyman, was never really interested in producing a Renee Vidal project. No matter how out of Renee's league that person's sensibility may be, he just needs someone to finish it. The problem with television is that, unlike film, it is not a medium for directors. Once a show's aesthetic has been decided upon, various directors frequently come and go. Since the miniseries about the miniseries is wholly written and directed by Assayas, whose fingerprints are clearly visible here, the issue is not quite identical. However, Renee is so disposable that a replacement is found for him in less than a day. However, the issue continues. Carla claims that Gottfried is unable to attend the shoot the following day because he hung himself in some sort of sex game, and we are not sure if he's completely alive. The experts anticipate that he will likely sustain brain damage that might be permanently incapacitating, even if he survives, which is by no means guaranteed. Yet there is no doubt whatsoever that Gottfried, a guy as invulnerable as Keith Richards, will survive. It really simply feels like another day to him when he gets out of his hospital bed, disconnects from the monitoring, and leaves the room through the window while wearing his medical gown and cowboy boots. And he always heads straight for the set, which explains why Gottfried keeps getting roles. He hits his targets at the conclusion of the day. A comedic high point is Gottfried's account of his evening. He explains, "I was quietly reading this incredibly amazing book about drugs and Nazi Germany called Blitzed in my hotel room. Know about it? It's intriguing. Did you realize that all those stupid troops were on speed? Gottfried nods sarcastically when informed that, no, he actually strangled himself in his closet while engaging in autoerotic asphyxiation, saying, "Now I understand the neck pain and strangulation marks." He says that, while it mostly aids with erections, occasionally he blacks out. When Mira finds out that Herman, the Hollywood hack who directed her in Doomsday and became engaged to her ex-girlfriend Lori, has been hired to take Renee's position, she becomes even more engrossed in the fantasy of playing Irma Vep. The episode's opening sequence, in which Renee and Mira show up early to the shoot and discuss how unreal it is to make movies, foreshadows an entirely surreal conclusion. As she enters Herman and Laurie's hotel room in her catsuit attire once more, Mira also manages to sneak between the walls like a ghost, watching their private moments and, in typical Irma Vep style, stealing a flashy necklace from the mantel. Even if the set falls apart under Mira's feet, she will still get what she wants out of this absurd shitshow. Mira responds yes when Renee asks if she believes in the unseen, like Wi-Fi. Even still, there are moments when I feel as though it is both absent and ineffective. It took me 6 episodes to realize something I'm sure you're all aware of. An anagram of Irma is Mira. You'd think that, after writing Mira and Irma so frequently for 6 weeks, I would have figured that out by now, but alas. Only Gottfried is less shocked by what happened to him than even he is, and even he admits that such games are typical in France. Men play with their dicks when they are bored during summer vacations. It's exciting to watch Regina get the chance to helm a production and draw inspiration from Kenneth Anger for her one scene. Perhaps Regina's artistic contributions aren't finished yet, given the wild experimental superimpositions of Anger's visuals and what happens to the Les Vampires remake in the original Irma Vep. Renee shares one trait with Fuelade: a complete disregard for safety. Fuelade authorizes an actual explosive to detonate in the middle of a cabaret, despite being informed that the extras would probably sustain injuries in a very funny video excerpt from Musadora's memoir. He declares, "Triple pay for the wounded."